garage today. I've got a camera now, and it's no better than my previous camera in terms of resolution, but it was low cost, and it's one of these little action cameras, and it's not very high resolution or quality wise. But that's not the point. Today I'm going to talk about the Powapacs ACS, or I think it's pronounced, the Atom. But before I start on that, excuse me, what I use for my radio kit is this Ultramax battery pack, which is meant for golf trolleys, and I made this myself, which is terminals here to power my radio equipment, and it actually connects onto there. You can see it's quite clumsy to use. Now recently I was given this Powapac, how do you pronounce it? I'm not sure, Powapacs Atom. And it's quite a few years old, so it's not under warranty or anything. It's got, I don't know if you can see in this light, apologies for the lighting level, it's got 4 USBs, and it's got a display percentage of the battery. It can be charged via solar panels or via a mains charger. It's got a fan inside here to protect it if it gets too hot, and it's got a 12 volt cigarette lighter socket outlet, and it's got a 150 watt inverter and a torch built in it. As far as I know, the only thing wrong with it, the inverter doesn't work, which is a bit of a shame really. But as I was given it from my son, I'm hoping to modify it so it's got terminals on it to power my radio equipment. So I'm going to fit, a couple of terminals on the end here, binding posts, so I can run my radio equipment. That's the plan. But I thought I'd do like a small product review on it first to see how it performs. So this Atom has got a 150 watt inverter in it. The model number is R15020, serial number 1900503, and what I'm going to do is do some tests on the USB. And I've got my little testing device. I'm going to load the USB outlets up and see what voltage it gives at 1 amp. Right, so switch on. Right, at 1 amp it's giving 4.66 volts on that output. This output 4.7 volts at 1 amp. .68 volts at 1 amp. 4.5 volts at 1 amp. Right, and while it's doing that, I'm going to actually put another load in. This will be taking 1 amp from another outlet. Right, put that in there, and that's not making any effect on that one and that one. That's making very little effect on the output. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to ramp up the current it's drawing on the USB to 1.5 amps load. Right, 1.2 amps. That's roughly 1.5 amps, and it's 4.5 volts on that outlet. Try on that one. 4.5 volts. 4.5 volts. 4.5 volts, and plug that in there. That don't make much difference. Right, so I'm going to ramp it up now to 2 amps. 1.6, 1.7 amps. 0.9. That's 2 amps, and it's 4.4 volts. Right, 4.3 volts on that one. Right, let's plug this in now. Set that as well. 4.4 volts, 2 amps. Right, now I can actually switch this second dummy load to 2 amps. So we'll be drawing 4 amps now. Yeah, 4.3 volts it's gone down to on this one. Okay, let's move that out. And let's turn the current up so we can go a bit higher. Right, that's shut off at 3 amps. Will it come back on? Try that. Disconnect it. Right, switch on. Plug that one back in. Right, I think it's reset itself now. Plug that in, 3 amps. No, it doesn't like 3 amps, which I'm not surprised. But the fact it cut out was really good. Let's see if we can get it to come back on. Yeah, so it doesn't like 3 amps, but the fact it cuts out and resets itself is pretty good, so it's quite good. The thing I'm a bit unsure about is this. Let's disconnect it a minute, switch off. Come on, off. When you plug it in, why is it flashing like that? Don't get that. Right, let's plug something in. Let's put that in. It must be have a sensing circuit that's pulsing it. Unplug that. Plug that in. Yeah, it's a sensing circuit to sense if there's a load connected. Look at that. Strange. Anyway, it does what it says on the tin, I think. Yeah. Yeah, when it's switched off, it's still giving a voltage out on the USB ports. Look at that. Strange. So that's tested the USB ports. Now I've just tested the cigarette port with my multimeter, cigarette socket port here, and with it switched off, it doesn't give anything from there, and with it switched on, it gives 12.2 volts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load that with a lamp or something to see if the voltage drops, to see whether that's regulated. I don't think it is, but to do that I've got to actually take the case off so I can get at the wires. So that's my next job, and it's removing these little plastic bungs here, but I wouldn't advise you to do that unless you know what you're doing, basically. So that's my next step. Now I've took the case off of this Atom, and it's got a little cooling fan here, and as far as I can make out, this is for cooling the inverter, but also the charging circuit, so it keeps that cool, and it blows air along this area here, air in and air out, all on the electronics, all this side here. Now you've got to be careful with these things because they're not really been designed to be taken apart unless you're a qualified electronics engineer, etc. But I need to do some tests on this and also some fault finding, and it's strange they're using the same colour coding of wires for the AC inverter to the 12 volt DC. I don't know if you can see that. It's red and black there, red and black. Now I don't like that personally, because when these wires run together around this board, you could easily get confused with the wires. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder some extra wires on here so I can do some tests on the 12 volt outlet, and I shall put this one back in its where it should be. Plug it back in there, out the way. But that's what we'll do next. I'm going to solder 2 wires on there, and then that will go to my binding posts like this when I receive them, so I can put my transceiver onto it. Now what I've done, I've soldered 2 wires onto the cigarette lighter socket, and I've attached a car bulb down there on the wires, and it's reading 100% there. Strange things are happening with this unit, and I don't know why. Right, so it's switched on at the moment, it's reading 100% battery, and it's just powering that little lamp. Now if I switch it off here, that's what's happening with the bulb. It's flickering. Right, can you see that? You probably can't, but it's going like in the off position. So if I disconnect the lamp right there, right, so it's disconnected. If I connect it back on, it's not flashing. Right, so if I then power it on by the switch, press 1, 2, 3, it's on. It's on. It goes to a flashing mode. And then, right, I'm going to switch it off, so it goes off there, and that's still flashing. Can you see it? Now that's in the off position. If I disconnect the lamp, right, put the lamp back on, right, it's not flashing. Switch it on. I see it's on. Switch off. And it's doing a similar flashing on the USBs. So I don't really know what's going on. So that's with it off, with the load still connected. Oh, it's gone off now. I think something's wrong with the on-off switch. Right, just press it once, nothing. Press it twice, nothing. Hold it 3 seconds. Right, that's flashing. Why don't I just switch the torch on? I'll put the torch on. Alright, switch off the torch. Switch off that. It's flashing. We'll put the torch on here. That comes on. Nothing else connected. Right, switch off. Okay then. Switch off here. So when it's off, there's still power getting to the bulb. Unless I disconnect it. Oh, okay. Let's try something strange. Alright. Switch it on. And it's on. Okay. Right. You press it twice for the inverter. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. It's gone off. Right, inverter. 1, 2. 1, 2. It's off. Right. 1, 2, 3. No. That's the nice error. What? Okay. Put the switch on. Right, let's do this again. Switch off. Let's put the torch on. Torch is on. 1, 2. Ooh. Oh, strange. Okay, I'm going to stop now because I don't really understand what's happening. And so with it switched off, in both cases with the USB and with that, it flashes. Right, switch the lamp off. Right, switch the unit off there. 2, 3, off. Right, let me plug my USB in here. Right. Flashing with it off. Right, switch on. It's not flashing. Switch off. Can you see it? Alright, let's put the torch on. Torch is on. Switch off. It's flashing. Alright. Let's try the lamp then. What does that do? Right, so in the... What's going on? 1, 2, 3, off. Okay, so with it off, switched off, I've got the USB outlet flashing and also the lamp flashing, the 12-volt bulb. Unplug this. That makes no difference. What about I plug it? Strange. Sorry, don't understand what's going on. Thanks for watching so far. We'll see what happens in part 2.